Hi everybody, Russell and West End Network. Hope you're safe and well. What an idiot. If you're new and give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Why the devil don't you? Hope everybody's safe and well. Hope everyone having a nice weekend. It was Flo's birthday weekend today, or today, last weekend. Weekend just gone. When did it become a thing that it was a birthday weekend rather than one day? I swear I'm lucky if I get an hour, to be honest. But anyway, it was Joe's birthday weekend the weekend before that. So May is a busy time, an expensive time in the Budden household. Hope everyone is safe and well. And obviously, anyone in the UK, 3-day week. 3-day week for those of us who are working. Thursday and Friday off. You know, nice. Good old Liz. Still on the throne, Platinum Jubilee and all that stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm comparing a street party. How exciting. Exciting times. So, point of today. There's been a few bits of news coming up in the last few hours, really, as well as yesterday. And I just wanted to sort of open up to a bit of a debate. We all like a mass debate, don't we? About the #1 jersey next year. I'll go through some comments in a minute, but obviously news last week that we showed Mr. David Martin the door, which was not really surprising. What was surprising actually was we kept Darren Randolph on the retained list, and yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I thought we'd have probably got rid of both of them. Now, obviously, we haven't had any concrete. What's the word? Confirmation on Fabianski signing a deal. We know Moyes has said we have signed him, keep him for another year and that type of thing, but we haven't. The club hasn't announced it yet, which is a bit strange in my opinion. So technically, he's sort of although he's on the retained list, he sort of is. They haven't been those sort of like details really released like properly officially for the official channels. And then we've got Areola as well, and there are reports that he was on 130 grand a week at PSG, valued at to West Ham at about 10 to 12 million quid. And by all accounts, it seems in the sort of recent news in the last sort of couple of hours, really, or it's been sort of documented over the weekend, that it looks like we're going to trigger that clause in his contract to sign him for 10.5 million, or maybe even come back and probably try and negotiate a little bit off. Who knows? Obviously, there was talk of Paris Saint-Germain paying a percentage of his current or his new contract in terms of wages, because the wages were so high, and then potentially the view could be he could swap for Fabianski, who's 37 now, as first choice, but and he hasn't even accepted his 1 year extension yet. He only actually played one league game for West Ham last season, Areola, and obviously was our Europa League goalkeeper, and he could well be our first signing this summer. Maybe him and Olnaef, as we spoke about last week. And then there's Nick Pope as well, and there was reports that obviously we were interested in Nick Pope, but obviously he would have been the cheaper option. Maybe not cheaper in terms of transfer budget, but in terms of wages. 30 years old, so roughly the same age. But it looks like Areola might be the preferred choice. And then the reports yesterday that we were going to open talks to sign Real Madrid goalkeeper Andre Lunin on loan in the coming days, according to the Sunday Mirror. It reported that the Hammers are keen to sign a 23-year-old Ukrainian on a temporary basis, but Real Madrid want him to get guaranteed game time. It's understood that a loan-to-buy deal could be on the cards as long as there's a buyback clause including the deal for Real Madrid. Adds he's valued at 13 million quid by Real Madrid. However, it looks as though the Hammers are maybe eyeing up Lunin in case they're unable to agree a full-time deal for Areola potentially. Or maybe he's going to come in as our third, because don't forget, we've got a whole bunch of, question mark on him, we've got a whole bunch of youngsters, haven't we? We've got Nathan Trott, who's on loan at AC Nancy. We've got Joseph Nang, who's on loan at St Patrick's Athletic. And we've got the under 20, the current sort of under 23 goalkeeper, Higgy, who's Hungarian international, who's fantastic and playing really well. So there's so many goalkeepers. It's almost like we're bereft of goalkeepers. So interesting to get your thoughts, what we think about the various options. Me, I think it's to me it makes sense to stick with what you know. I would imagine Areola will sign a permanent deal and possibly we'll go into the next season as number one with Fabianski as the backup goalkeeper. But you never know, do you? You never know. See what everyone else thinks. Sorry, but Fabianski has to retire now, says John. Gaza says, yep, Fab is a really good keeper, but I think it's time for him to move on. Need Areola and a good backup. Well, I mean, that could be the thing with Lunin, for example. He could be the backup goalkeeper potentially. But then he must be guaranteed game time, so Real Madrid. So would he be guaranteed game time? Well, maybe. Would he be our Europa Conference League goalkeeper and our Cup goalkeeper? Who knows? Good afternoon, Happy Hour. Hope you're well. Jimmy Jones, you all right? Good. Hope you're well. Raymond Basuma from Any News. Well, he's deleted all his Brighton photos on his Instagram and put across Hammers. So who knows? Pete, hope you're well. Revolving door yet to be installed at the club for comings and goings. Well, we have at the goings, obviously the unretained list, which Anton went through the other week. But we'll see. Afternoon, all. Fred, hope you're well. Rob's in the house. Good afternoon, Rob. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Just because the window's open yet happened doesn't mean we don't have to get any deals agreed like other clubs. Or maybe, who knows? We maybe haven't. Maybe it's to coincide with the kit launch, which is to be very, very soon. Do you remember when they did that Haller one? Do you remember when the Haller was, and they didn't announce the Haller signing, but he was at the end of the kit launch. Do you remember when we had that purple kit? Who knows? Mixed arse, I think very soon, I believe so. Rich, hope you're well. Everyone's in the house. GP, what did GP just say? 12:30. I was literally in the minute of 12:30. No, Stel works at, he does his West Ham voice now. Check it out. It's really good stuff. It is Russ indeed. Thank you, no street party round here. Oh, yeah. Did you, because apparently doesn't the whole street have to agree for the street party? I think so. Randolph won't play much as he's too busy changing nappies. Indeed, it was never going to be Pope, as that would cost too much. It wouldn't cost as much. I think actually on paper, Areola's going to cost a lot more, because I think once you take if he was on like 130 grand a week, Areola, for example, plus 11, 12 million, Burnley aren't going to get 40 million. They're going to be about maybe 15 million for Pope, I'd say. They sort of. And so, plus, I think he'd be about half the wages, so about the same. Randolph is better suited to the Championship. I think he'll probably go on loan to the Championship, I think. Liverpool having a parade for Carabao seems way over the top, considering their profile and wage bill. Indeed. Afternoon, Luke. Hope you're well. No Neymar update. Just name a squad of goalkeepers and be done with it. I'm so confused why we have 50 keepers and no strikers. Indeed. Anyone who follows us on Twitter or Facebook, we've started this on this day thing. So every day at 9:00, it'll be in the morning in the UK. They'll be on this day. So today was the 30th of May. So 2005 was the playoffs. So it's a bit about that. Tomorrow will be the 31st of May. The next day will be the 1st of June. You get the idea. Check it out. If you like it, comment on it, share it, retweet it, all that type of stuff. Want to see if it works. Irish Tommy, good afternoon to you. Hope you're well, my friend. Jan, love this channel. Thank you. Love you too. If we could okay all goalkeepers at the same time, I'd be interested. Yeah, could you imagine? Can we convert a goalkeeper into a striker? Who knows? We did it with David James, or Man City did it with David James. We did it with Les Seeley. God rest his soul. Maybe Moyes wants a goalkeeper for each competition. Well, it does look like it, to be honest, doesn't it? Fab isn't leaving. He's signed away. Well, I know that he signed it, but the club haven't announced it, have they? Or he's expecting to sign a 1 year. And I'm not saying, I'll put two and two together, but why hasn't it been announced yet? Why hasn't it been announced? Good morning from Canada. This is Graham. Any update on Pele? I don't think Pele's coming to us. I think he's well past his prime, unfortunately. Back in the day, he would have. back in the day. A keeper for each day, you know. Hi, Schmiegel, hope you're well. Schmiegel, hope you're well, my friend. Barbecue on Thursday, happy days, nice. We're having a barbecue on Thursday as well. There we go. We'd like Pope, even though I'm not religious. He's very good at crosses, though. Scott's rated the goal. That's a good shout. Areola 9, Pope 8, Fabs 7, Johnson 6. I don't think it's fair for Johnson, because Johnson has been playing championship football, really. I mean, I think, isn't he turned down Spurs? I think Spurs were sniffing around for him and he looks at it. There's so many. It's this thing. It's like, it's 2 in about 6, isn't it? So you say you've got, as you said, we've got Fabianski, we've got Areola, you've got Pope, you've got Lunin, who we just spoken about. You've got Johnson as well. So that's 5. So you want 2 from those 5. Look how my sausage fingers. 2 out of 5, really, isn't it? So it's preference, I think. I think Areola's shown himself to be a good goalkeeper. Moyes obviously trusted Fabianski in the Premier League. Maybe that will change next season. Maybe it'll be flipped next season. Who knows? Maybe the fact that Areola has played European football had that little bit of extra, because that's like we've really, really, really looked weak on is that European experience. So, I mean, Lunin played. He was on the bench on Saturday for the Champions League. You know, one website said he's the hardest player or something like that. He's been on the bench most of the season for Real Madrid. Obviously, they got Courtois, who's an incredible goalkeeper. He's not going to get any game time in Spain, so obviously they're looking at him to get game time elsewhere, and maybe he's going to be their successor to. They've always done it. Real Madrid. They had obviously Keylor Navas. They had Casillas for that. Then it was Keylor Navas. Then obviously Courtois, and now maybe they see Lunin as a next one. Maybe I think a loan deal. I like the idea of a loan deal. Sort of try before you buy, to be honest. I'm struggling with the narrative behind Antonio is now we need a backup striker. Sure, it's time to upgrade and use Antonio as a backup or winger. I totally agree, Paul. Hammer's headlines tonight. We talk about a guy who is rapid, a rapid striker, who I think could be it. He ticks a lot of boxes for me, so we'll see. Convert a strike goal, get a defender into a goalie like Julian Dix. Great shout. Or Henry Lansbury. Do you remember Henry Lansbury? Our midfielder during the Championship eras under Big Sam, and he would famously be in the on the squad. He's basically on the bench, and he was a very bloody good goalkeeper and a good midfielder as well. Still playing, I think, Bristol City. I think he's still playing. Grid will be our first signing, or will it take to deadline? No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll take him to. I think he's. Well, by all, I mean, look, you can only. We only know what we hear, isn't it? And by all accounts, he's been over here and he's come over to sign the forms, and he's come over and he's done the kit shots and stuff like that. But who knows? And he's obviously going back for the international duty as well. So I don't know. Yeah, they go to get bed, says Paul. I'd buy Pope and sign Eric, keep Fab as a third choice. I don't think he's good enough anymore. Don't think that's going to happen, is it? Let's be honest, 40. It's not. Fabianski would go if that was the case, wouldn't he? We should buy Ward-Prowse and Areola. That'd be lovely. Trottenham won't have a future. Higgy maybe, because he could be, because he's the under 23 goalkeeper, and the fact that they haven't got David Martin now, there's another place on the bench. I don't know. It's just so many goalkeepers. I'm surprised they kept Randolph. I'm surprised they kept him. Convert Russ into an Anton. Kilt Scottish accent. Okay, and a pet haggis. You better believe it, GP. Hasn't played enough for me to be fully convinced. Pope is assuming no fears. Well, I think, if you're looking at the Moyes MOT test, Pope has been a consistent Premier League player for a couple of years. Areola has played a bit. He played one game this last season, and he played a full season with Fulham. So, personally, I think Pope is the more reassured choice. Also, he's a massive mate of Declan Rice as well. Let's not say you buy players because players friends, but Declan Rice has lost David Martin, who's a good friend of his. Fredericks is a good friend of his. And then maybe Pope comes in, who he works on international duty with. I don't know what's going to happen, mate. He's going to go somewhere, isn't he? Pope is going to go somewhere. You look around, who really needs a goalkeeper at the moment? I think Villa has sorted. Newcastle, maybe. But there'll be links of everyone anyway, so you think where we go. Pet haggis, what would it eat? Don't know. Tommy, I'm so pissed off. I'll be so pissed off if we go into next season when Terry's numbers record. We need someone. I think I can hear Tommy say it. I'll be so pissed off. But obviously an Irish accent rather than Geordie. I think I did. I need someone who knows where the net is to replace him. And it's a big white thing at the net, so it's not hard to see. But I agree. Lee, hope you're well. Congratulations on staying up as well. Why would you? We could not afford JWP. Do not kid yourself. Well, we could afford him, but I don't think we could get many others. I think we're trying to tie. We are trying to tie him down. That's just your own preference. But that is the idea. By all accounts, Blackpool. Well, yep, he played Blackpool away. Did old Henry Lansbury. We don't want strikers in this team. They're overrated indeed. Don't mean nothing with strikers. What we got here? Hi Russ, when is the transfer deadline? Some people are disappointed over transfer activity. I thought it's not even open. It isn't even open yet. It's not open until I think the 10th or something like that. But it's going to be done very, very quickly. And obviously people have announced free signings. Technically, I think they can sign a month in advance from their contract running out. So if the contract ran out in the end of June, then they could sign them in late May, which is what they did with Boubacar Kamara from Aston Villa, who I was gutted. But then he's on 185 grand a week. So okay, you can see where this is going, and also Villa signed. They haven't actually signed him, but they've agreed terms with Diego Carlos, not Diego Costa, as Happy Amaret said in the chat. Diego Carlos from Sevilla, and apparently he's going to be on 200 grand a week. So I don't know where Villa are going to get all this money from. To be honest, it's a bit crazy. 3 keepers on the bench. Well, we'll have extra subs, won't we, next year? So we probably need them. Keep him Randolph because he is homegrown. Possibly, you're probably right. I think the reason we often have 3 goalkeepers to meet are domestic. You guys were bang on by the sound of it. Spurs. What we got here? Spurs. Lloris is getting on a bit, maybe. Yeah. Heard we're interested in little player Onana. What's my name? Yes, we've spoken about that. We've spoken about it before. He's a good player. Little sort of diminutive, but very, very a wonder kid, a sensation. Some may say. Weren't ripping up until we brought him back and sit on the bench. Yes, he was. Spurs on the side. Yeah, they're signing Fraser Forster from Saints as their backup goalkeeper. And Ivan Perisic. He was a great player about 3 years ago from Inter Milan. They're going to apparently have agreed terms with him on a 2-year deal. Unbelievable. I think we're keeping Randolph in case we don't get... Maybe. But I think it's maybe something to do with the homegrown. So I think you're either going to keep Randolph or David Martin, potentially, because they're both homegrown players. Problem is, I don't know, Madu Peru. Okay, very good. What we've got here, just read. Yep, we are. What about Bowyer? He was pretty bad, I felt. I was talking to himself. As was one of the most Diego Costa, indeed. If I was put a gun to your head and ask what 3 sides will we definitely be signing, who would you pick? Aguerd, Naif to his friends. I think we're going to sign him. I think we're going to sign Areola, and I think we're going to sign one attacker. Then I don't think we'll sign Jesse Lingard. Then, if you're putting a gun to my head, I'll go with someone like Lewis Potter. To be honest, those 3, great. I think they're 3 great players. Although it's not really someone like Areola, it's not improved your squad because you had him in the squad last year. Do you know what I mean? Anang and David Martin, Jonathan David, great player. Pope's a great keeper, and his cousin has a great fish and chip shop in Newmarket. Good to know. Any quizzes coming up? Oh, we'll do some quizzes for your Sharky. Hopefully, we'll have another Hex Hammer coming on this week as well. I don't want to confirm it just yet. But obviously, we had Matty Holmes on last Thursday. We're going to have one, if we can confirm it. You should confirm today, actually. That'll be on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Thought it'd be a good time. Everyone's ready for the bank holiday. The only Jonathan we will sign is Jonathan Creek. Alan Davis went to my old school. We've been linked with Ivor No Space. Very good. Good old No Pace. Very good. Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. I'm not fussy. That's very kind of you, 40. Depay, lol. 70 million quid, apparently. 17 million quid. Don't seem like a lot, does it? Don't seem like a lot. Russ and Anton should sign a lease for a hot tub. That's what all the pro streamers are doing. Let's have a word. What's the one? What's the chain? If they want to sponsor, feel free to sponsor. The thing, the channel, hot tub, or us or something like that. Russ, when you look into the crystal ball, do you see any chance for any youngsters? Yes, I do. I do. Not necessarily a chance in terms of breaking into the first team, but I see a chance in terms of getting more game time. Obviously, I think we were bottom, weren't we, of the percentage of our players under the age of 21 or something like that. But for me, I think we will get definitely. I could see Ashby breaking in. He would replace Ryan Fredericks in the sort of the squad, and then maybe Perkins getting more of a run out. I don't think Alese will get much. Honestly, I don't think, because I think, if we buy in, if you get Naef in, we've got Naef, we've got Zuma, you've got Dawson, and you've got Ogbonna. So that's 4 really strong teams. But I think the right back will get Ashby, will get more game time, and more squad time, and possibly Perkins. Those are the 2 he's sort of earmarked. But who knows, man? Who knows? Could do with a Suchek or Sushi player like. Oh, God. Everyone's trying. Do you plan on making the journey to Binley Mega Chippy? No. What is Binley Mega Chippy? What, Chris? I haven't got. Do you know what? I don't eat Chris. I don't. It's crazy. Any news links with Bassi? Obviously, I think Aston Villa were looking at him, but then it was unsurprising. But obviously, he's got a tie to Newham area as well. So who knows? Good day, Kieran. Hope you're well, my friend. I'd take Depay. So I think we would. I think anyone would. He's a great player. When he was at Lyon, he was a great player. He was a good player. Played reasonably well at Barcelona as well. Obviously, he has that sort of Man United. Even when he's played for Man United and played against us, he was always a threat. Pace is a threat, and I think that's one thing we lack is lightning pace from more than a couple of players. Our front three I want to be really pacey, and we talk about 2 of them. 2 sort of rumours on 5 o'clock tonight, and they're both very, very quick players. And that's what I think we need, because defences are scared of pace. We're scared of it. Every time we come up against someone who's quick, we're worried for our fullbacks, because they're not the quickest, the oldest at all. So, sorry, just keep getting notifications. Chocolate. Chocolate. Any transfer? Nope. Of course, there's not any transfers confirmed at the moment. As I said, reports are today saying that Areola is close to being signed permanently, but then again, it's how close is close. Do you know what I mean? It's like, is he closer than yesterday? Quite possibly. Is he closer than tomorrow? No. But then so is Naif as well. I've got a feeling, this is just my gut feeling, that it's going to be a similar deal to like when Haller signed for us, and they just snuck it in to the kit announcement. Because that's what they did, and considering Haller was our record signing, and he was dropped in at the back end of a 3rd kit announcement, weren't it? Really, I think that I can see something happening. Depth-wise, unless we are promoting under-23s, we need a left, right back, keeper, midfield, and striker. That's the bare minimum. That's why I think we'd cover the right back. With Ashby, the keeper, I think by the sounds of it, it's going to be 2 out of 5 keepers really. Midfielder, I can see that one coming in. Striker, I can see a striker coming in, but also I can see Sonny Perkins being more backup as well. And a left back, I agree as well. Do you think there'll ever be another Noble through? No. I don't think there'll ever be a Noble again in world football to that extent. When we're announcing, if we bottle this, I'll be fuming. I think it's to do with the kit. I think it'll be the kit launch. they're in no pressure to um, they're in no pressure to announce it really, because technically we haven't actually opened the transfer window's not opened yet, so all we can do is announce our intention to sign. So because it's an actual money deal, whereas a bit like Villa did, I think, recently. Scotland tour pre-season, yes, apparently so. St Andrews is the gaff as well, and Anton's obviously up that way, so we hopefully we'll get some stuff over there. Billany Mega Chippy has taken over the internet, so I'll have to check that out. Left back even better on that side. I think Johnson will be the left back going if Cresswell gets injured, but Johnson will slip in there. I think he's played a lot better at left back than he has at right back, in all honesty, without a doubt. Perkins, Ashby, Chessers will get more time if we get a run in the Littlewoods in the old Milk Cup. The early rounds would suit, and I think also they would have had more of a run out if we hadn't have been drawn against the likes of Man City and Man United, and we've had some tough draws in terms of those rounds. If we were playing Rotherham or Aldershot or someone like that, then they would have got a lot more game time. And we can see, obviously, when we had the 7 of them finished the game against Zagreb. And the same thing, I think, will happen in the conference. If we say we have we've got qualified first, obviously. But say we get to the group stages and, we've qualified safely with a game, 2 games in hand, then the same thing will happen again. Because I think it's a great opportunity. Would I play 180? No, I would not. Not for Jesse Lingard. Not at all. I think that is a lot of money. When you look at someone like Boubacar Kamara, who has so much potential ahead of him, looking at 180 grand, I don't think Jesse's worth 180 grand. I don't say it's not worth it, but I wouldn't pay it. I think you could get better players for that wage bill. We've got to keep an eye on, one close eye on that wage bill, because we can't hit that 70% mark. And I think we were about 65, 66%, something like that. I think it's dropped a little bit because Yarma's off the books and stuff. But we have to watch out for that. So I'd rather not spend that money on Jesse. I'd rather get 100 grand a week for Jesse and 80 grand a week on someone else, or give the 80 grand a week to Declan Rice. You know what I mean? We would end up signing someone with pace, but they would forget to take the ball with them. Well, there we go. Ludders is already worrying about this season. Oh, don't worry. Plenty of time, indeed. Plenty of time. If you're old school, Russ, I'm seriously old school. Oh, because I'm a top. Yeah. Well, I technically am a bit old school, because it's like, I'm 40 odd years old now. You're older, that's for true. I don't think Russ would go to Coventry just to get a... I wouldn't go to... Oh, he's in Coventry. Oh, okay. That makes sense. What else we got here? I'm really old school. I think Russ would walk for charity, pushing Anton in a wheelbarrow. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a talk about maybe in September I might start plans for my next charity event we've got coming. Nicola just says Juventus. Very good. Don't forget we urgently need the left wing as well. Yeah, we do. Do you have Red Rock Crisps? No, we don't. If you want to send me some, feel free to send me them. We can taste them. Feel free to send me some if you want, Pat. Pat on the fan. We leave it late. Sign players at the board don't want to pay extra weeks in wages. That's true. You do send to more clubs will sign players at the beginning of the month rather than the end of the month, because that's another month's bill to pay. Kostic would be a great winger to sign. He would be indeed. Do we all enjoy it? If you all enjoy the pre-Champions League concert by Camila Cabello, I think Rush should do the same next year. I'll have a go. Kostic wants to go to Spurs, but everyone, it just seems to be getting all these. As I said, they got Perisic, they get Forest, not great players now. It's a bit champ man. It's a bit like Championship Manager, like the end of the season, you get all the loan or the free transfers in with players who were good a few seasons ago. I would like Moyes to give us fans a bit of hope that he's in the same wavelength as us regarding the desperate need for quite a few quality players this week. We'll see. Betway Cup versus Sporting Lisbon, I heard. I haven't heard nothing yet. Or dates. They'll book the dates in with me soon, so I imagine. So, yeah. Why would anyone willing to go to Champions League, innit? Champions League, Afternoon, Kenny. Hope you're well. Russ, Moyes don't tease us with a carrot, just a sherbet pip. Sherbet pip. Random. I love it. The ref in the definitely popped like a. I don't know. You're loving this mega chippy. Congratulations. Also, I think that's a good point as well. The whole Forest going up does sort of kibosh moves for Joe Worrell and Brennan Johnson as well. Realistically, they'll be still at Forest next year, and Dave Spence as well in terms of what happens with him. That's gonna be quite interesting. So that's why I went Huddersfield Cup, because then I think we have more chance of. Cause I do like Joe Worrell. I think he's a good goal. I think he's a good centre back. I think Dage's a great right back, and the chances are Middlesbrough would have probably sold him to a Premier League club. They still will do. He's obviously on loan to them, so from Forest. So I imagine they'll try and buy him. But Brennan Johnson, I think, is a great player as well, which I'm a little bit gutted about, but anyway. What we got here? All the people being pissed off and fuming, just take care of your blood pressure. Indeed, look after yourselves. Doesn't generally include his signing on fee and other bits? Apparently, no. That's what we don't know. We don't know, do we? Happy. So what we've been told is 180 grand a week. Seems a lot of money to me. Would you spend a day in baked bean baths? That's an easy thing to do. Not walking 17 miles the last time. If West Ham say yes, then there are going to be problems when we sign. That's what I mean. You can't say yes, because then why aren't we giving Declan Rice 200 grand a week? Why aren't we giving? That'd be my priority first. Would be, we talk about contracts, but there'd be some people who they need their contract renegotiated. I think the likes of Ben Johnson, Jared Bowen, apparently it's going to start soon. Thomas Souček and Declan Rice, really. So I'd rather give them the money first. Do you know what I mean? Before then starting. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to the England fans singing Bowie's on fire, indeed. Moyes is obsessed with centre-backs. So he'll probably just sign 5 of them. There we go. Rush, you remind me of Pete Griffin. Yeah. Does anyone know when the new kit will be announced? I imagine in the next couple of weeks. Next week or so, I reckon. 5 centre-backs, including Tommy. Think we'll not bid for... No, exactly. Won't Kostic already be... He will be playing Champions League because Frankfurt won the Europa, indeed. Maybe he sees more money with Spurs. Probably. Ref was brought in chat as they wanted Forest back in the top league. Oh dear. Price of beans is a good point. Cost of living's gone through the roof, isn't it? Pete, I think it's because Wood actually do well and Huddersfield would most likely get relegated. Have a shower of beans. It's cheaper, indeed. And get the cheapest beans, like Lidl, I was talking about what they used to buy as a kid. Doesn't England have games? We do. We have 4 games in June. The 4th, the 7th, 11th, and the 14th, indeed. Mental, innit? Absolutely mental. It's like they're literally, running these players into the ground. They really are. As I said before, Declan Rice has not had a rest. I don't think he's had a rest since 2.5 years ago. Because you had COVID, and then you had such a small gap between COVID and then the start of that season. Then you had that season. Then you had the rescheduled Euros. And then you start the next season again. So he hasn't, and people talk about Tommy Souček looking tired. He's the same as well, and Vlad, as well, really. Maybe not to the exact extent, because obviously England got through to the final and the Czech Republic got knocked out in sort of the earlier stages. But still, it's not surprising these guys are absolutely shattered. We'll put bees on toast. People will probably pay for that, though, Pete, to be honest. Sorry for missing anything. Hit underground. Not much. There's not much been going on. It's all just rumours. And I love a rumour, I'll be honest. I know some people hate them. I love a rumour. I love the other day, it was on the BBC website, and like the little news box, 3 of the 6 news items were to do with West Ham. There was Boeing got called up, there was the Zuma stuff, and then there was one like transfer news. And I was like, yeah, love that. Saw a video by Gio and Gonzo. Apparently Moyes is obsessed with Darwin Núñez. That is ruining our transfer hope. This is just talk. I don't think so. But who knows? They've obviously some news. You just don't know, do you? It's all speculation, unless David Moyes has said it himself. You can understand why. I mean, he's great. He'd be a great player. He'll be. You talk about, I mean, the thing is, Darwin Núñez is he'll be one of those generational stars, like a Cavani, like a Luis Suarez. He's that good, but he could be that good, but you don't know if he's going to turn out that way. It's a lot of money to risk. And as I said, someone like City could spend £60 million on a player. If it doesn't work out, they haven't really lost loads because they're so rich. They're probably selling for 30 million back to a La Liga club and make a 30 million quid hit. We make a 30 million quid hit on someone like Haller, and it's like that's devastating for West Ham. That's not the case over there. So and I think. I just think sometimes we're not at that level. We're just not at that level to be able to spend that money on a punt, really. New player of the quick job? I think so. That's my opinion, just on, previous kit drops and, as I said, the thing with Haller, it just popped into my head this morning with Haller and, the third kit, then introducing our record signing, Sebastian Haller, I can see it happening. When do we turn? Man United return less than a month. Jeez. I think it'll probably be early June. It's probably the same for most clubs, to be honest. But obviously, old Ten Hag will get in there nice and early. What happened to Sam Johnson? Well, apparently he's still been sniffing about. There's people still sniffing about for him. I think that's less likely now for us. Bold accounts, but you never know. Any injury news on Diop or Oggy? No. Good shout, lads. No, I don't think. I think they're both not. I personally, I think Diop. Well, we saw him come on. Don't think he was on the bench, wasn't he? For the last game, last couple of games, he's been on the bench, I think. And I've got a feeling we won't see Diop in the West Ham shirt again. I think so. I think I was reading today. Was it Napoli or someone like that? We're interested. Who's what manager is Sarri at now? He was interested in him, and I could see Roma coming in for him. Mourinho's a massive fan of his, isn't he? So I think you'll probably see the last time. What's your favourite kit manufacturer for tops? For West Ham kits, Adidas. I did like the Adidas kit. I'm going to try and do something on my back wall with all my shirts, like frame them. Might be a project for the Jubilee weekend. In terms of, I quite like Pony. I like Fila. Fila was nice. I like the training kits of Fila. It's all getting out of hand with all the games. It's ridiculous, isn't it? FIFA Núñez is said to be up to £100 million. That's mental. The irrelevant the Nations League should only be played. Yeah, it should be. And I thought that was the idea. And the idea was to have all these internationals. I mean, we've got 9 international players out on international duty or something like that. I think West Ham website said. That's ridiculous. I wish we could get Rafa Silva from Portugal. Wasn't he at Eintracht Frankfurt for a while? I like Sam Johnson. Herbert, he's at Palace. Fair play. I mean, Palace need a goalkeeper, don't they, really? I mean, you've got what's name, isn't he? Gutierrez. He's an okay goalkeeper. But yeah, they put in anyone. Who do you think will be vice captain next season? Aaron Cresswell, I reckon. We will only get 7 or 8 million for Diop. No, I reckon you probably get 10 to 12 million, no more than 15. No more than 15. He's got potential, isn't it? I would take Bayo. He's young and looks like a Moyes type player. I think Mohamed Bayo looks a great player, and he's a unit as well. He's a big lad. He's quick as well. As I said, the guy I really like is the guy from Union Berlin, Taiwo Awani. But we were linked to him, but it's gone all quiet. But I really liked him. If he comes in, might be worth a quick quid on El Nasri to follow. Moyes was obsessed with him. He really was. And he was taller than I thought he was. I always thought El Nasri was like quite a small bloke, but he wasn't. He was very, very tall. I think he's about 6'2", 6'3", isn't he? Moroccan. Isn't Diop in the Moroccan squad? Or can't he play for Morocco? And I think also, was it Manuel da Costa was also in there, I think, as well. They should get your channel to do the kit review. Oh, more than happy. More than happy to. Antonio can't be number one striker next season. They've got to be another top striker to complete rather than backup. I think both. I'd like both. I'd like an up and comer. Maybe we've got that in Sonny Perkins, but I think it's. But you're not going to get. The thing is more. The way we play it, we'd have to. It's a bit like Man City. Man City are going to have to completely change. Not completely change, but they'll have to revisit the way they play their game to work with Haaland. And I think that was the trouble with us and someone like Haller. We didn't work around. We didn't work to the best of his abilities. And we know he's a great player. He's got an absolutely torn it up for Ajax. He's torn it up in the Champions League. He's got his records and that type of thing. So I think you have to be very careful and sort of go into. I mean, that's why I think Moyes is so cautious about the striker he brings in, because he's seen the flops that we've had to get rid of. The Andersons, Yarma's been a flop in all. He's been a flop. Haller has been a flop. I mean, that was probably about 40. It's about 80. It's about almost like £90 million worth of players there. Probably even more. Probably knocking on 100 million. And Yarma's gone on free. I think Haller went for something ridiculous like 20 million, wasn't it? Something like that, all in. And I think Anderson went for a couple of million. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Nesri can play behind two, is up front. Yeah. Any idea of what the transfer budget is? Well, I think it's about between 100 and 150 million. That's what I believe it is. But if I'm just what I've read, I don't know anything. We're not ITKs. Even ITKs don't necessarily know, to be honest. We read and looking at things realistically. We know we've made a fair bit with Europa as well. Obviously, we get a share of those TV money, but we don't know necessarily how much that is. It hasn't been revealed, I don't think. Plus, finishing 7th, we get a certain amount for finishing 7th. Plus, we get TV rights. Plus, what we tend to do is obviously loan next year's TV rights to have a war chest in the summer. That's usually the way it works. The last few years. 68 million has been quoted. Pick any club he wants. Top draw he is. Isn't Bio something for rubber plants? Indeed. Nunes is always a non-starter. I think he is. I don't want too many internationals coming in. You're right. I mean, what's his face? If we get Naef in, he'll be gone for African Cup of Nations. You're totally right. As regards to keepers, we don't sign Areola and permanent. We should inquire. Man United about Dean Henderson. They'll be willing to sell him. Great young keeper. I totally agree. Conor Gallagher, please, says Mark. It worries me, Russ, that we might not spend more than 50 million knowing the amount of players we need. I think sometimes with a lot of these players we've been linked with, they're not, I'd say, top draw. They're not upper echelon. They're not, top bins. They're players who could become that. And I think there's going to be... I can see us signing someone like Lewis Potter, for example. I'd be really excited about Lewis Potter. But there'll be a section of the fan base who'll be like, oh, he's not like a Champions League player, blah, 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 and that's who he needs to be. But it's not. It's not. And I think it's about getting the right players in to fit the system, rather than just names. Like there's a couple of guys we're looking at today on Hammer's Headlines, who I wouldn't say are household names, but they would do a job. Like we did... someone like Memphis Depay was 70 million, but also the other two I did on Friday were all there or thereabouts the same money. So I can see us picking up 3 or 4 of them. I really could. Worst thing about Haller for me was the lack of interest on his part to even try and adapt his game. You're totally right. GP agrees with Tommy. Cornet, 17 million. Yeah, Dennis. That was it. Yeah, it was Cornet, Dennis, and Depay. They were all around the 17 to 20 million pound. We can't spend. We're not a club, Luke, to spend 50 million pounds on one player anymore. Now, I don't think. I think if you're buying a player with the intention they are a debt signing, 10 or more appearances, then just use your best youth players. Unless they has to be in that bracket. I totally agree. Cornet and Dennis is similar. No, I don't. I think Dennis is more of a full striker. I think Cornet is more of a wing player. That makes sense. I think there's a spot there. I was reading an article today that Moyes is happy for Vlasic to go for money. I think most players would be happy to go, but it's getting the replacements in before you sell them. We don't want to be in a situation where we sell a player and then a buying club knows we've got that money already and we're desperate to get a replacement, so they're up the value of it. It's like, I think, when the Chelsea sale's gone through, it's open that they've got £200 million of investment to buy in players because they have to for shareholders. So it's not like we don't have to say, hey, we've got £150 million. Hello. Whereas Spurs are the same. I think Spurs what's his face? Joe Lewis has invested £150 million in as well. So, but again, we all know, but they have to because of the fact is because they're a limited company, they have to announce all that level of investment. So, we're a little bit better in that respect, but still, we know roughly what the rest of the Premier League are going to get. We know that Villa are going to spending already. I can see Everton spending a bit as well. I think Liverpool might spend. I mean, Mane goes. With reports that he's going to go to Bayern Munich. They'll be looking to buy someone to go into the first. Well, not even the first team because I think Jota would go, but they'll be like the next one in. So there's going to be loads of movement, and the whole thing around the World Cup just fucks everything up, really, in my opinion, because some people don't want to move, some people want to move, some people will be pushing for a move. I mean, you look at someone like Jesse Lingard. Man United basically stuffed him of making the World Cup, and even if he comes to West Ham, he has a very small percentage chance of making that England squad. Just because he's only got 3 months, really, if that. I don't even know when the squad's announced. But it's got to be announced sort of late October, early November time to coincide with the World Cup. But anyway. Rafa, 30 million will be happy. Fair enough. If Diop goes, we should promote Elisa. I totally agree. Bit late. Have we covered? We have. Don't know anything about him. Mid-20s, 23. And could be on loan with a view to buy, but with a view to put a buyback in for Real Madrid, as they always tend to do. Control of the ball and ability to move the ball are class. It's a bit worrying that Villa and Newcastle won't think twice about £180 million players who we should. But the thing is, I think it's the ramifications of paying 180 grand a week on a player. You pay 180 grand a week on a player, straight away, someone like John McGinn will want more money. Someone like Ollie Watkins will want more money. Coutinho is probably going to be on about 150, 160 grand a week, I reckon, for signing permanently for Villa. That's how can they? You can't realistically. They haven't got into Europe. So how are they gonna? It's not sustainable, and that's the problem. Newcastle as well. Newcastle, they'll come to a point if they don't get success, then they're buggered. The thing is, Man City got success, Chelsea got success. They were investing money, they were spending money, but they were reaping the rewards. So they were going to the bigger competitions, so they could attract the bigger stars who wanted to be on the bigger wages. Anyway, a few more comments, and we've got to go. Sorry, a bit late. I'm fed up with selling stories. Get some in as our old army boys used to say. Indeed, another couple like Bone and Dawson plus. That'll be me. Sounds good. Everton will sell many on a lavish band players for many, many millions. If we need a backup for Rice, we should have got look at Burge yet. Can't see him. He's a solid, very good player. I think we were looking at him last season. Last summer, we should be aiming to pay fifth wages, not take risk on 50-50. Indeed, Perkins could be our Harry Kane. Needs more game time. I totally agree. Zaha, 1 year left on his contract. Would you be good for us? Nah, don't think so. Anyway, ladies and gents, I'm going to have to go, unfortunately. If you're new around here, give it a like, a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Also, I'd like to thank all our channel members, as always. And I'll do a little thing at the end to say thank you. And we're back 5 o'clock tonight. Don't forget to miss it. No, don't miss it. Don't forget not to miss it. And we'll see you guys very, very, very soon. As I said, little Flo turned in, the 10-year-old. Double digits now. Double digits for Flo. Very nice. Love you too. Love you too, Holly. Heard about this. Good. Yeah, sounds good. Take care. As I said, we're back here for Hammers Headlines at 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow, Anton will be doing the Hammers Headlines and the daily shows. And hopefully we'll have a X-Player on Wednesday night. Scott's is alone. So take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, you irons. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Stay lucky, stay cheeky, and stay positive. Ta-ta for now, my friends. Bye-bye.
you know how. Nothing ever stays the same. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree.